And good evening, I'm Tracy Sinclair here at Alaska's News Source, and with me is Michaela Clark. Now, you see Michaela as part of The Fault in the Facts. She is the producer, reporter, writer. That is her baby. But what you don't know is she is also our senior producer here at Alaska's News Source, and typically that means she's doing the 6 o'clock news every day. We don't have a 6 o'clock news today because we, of course, are in kind of wall-to-wall election coverage, and that is going to include Alaska's results. Let's just kind of give a little bit of information. We hear the term producer, what does a news producer do on a regular basis?
I like to think of our job as kind of like filling in a massive spreadsheet that like every line opens up to like a separate page that you also have to fill in. We look at what story is going to be first, what we're going to be teasing ahead to, filling in all those graphics, things like that.
So kind of deciding what's going to be in the show, one story to the next, I have to produce at times too. So I have to do this on a semi-regular basis. Now, on an election night, you don't really know what the big story is going to be because our polls don't even close. What time is it now? 6:33. We still got about an hour and a half before our polls in Alaska even close. So how do you make a newscast, because normally you have most of the day to work on it. How do you make a newscast when you don't really know what the story is?
Luckily, I do get to still have most of the day to work on it today. That is a huge help because I'm having to build out, this is what I'm expecting, but I need to be ready for this and I need to be ready for it like at a moment's notice. So it's almost like producing more than one newscast because I have all these backups.
So we kind of think, basically, we know what Alaskans are going to care about, what they're going to be interested in. We're pretty sure that the ballot measures will be a hot topic. The U.S. House seat will be a hot topic. And then we've picked a couple of races in the state Senate and state House that we also think will be either hotly contested or could change the power structure in Juneau a little bit. So we'll be talking about those when you get into the actual newscast. What's challenging about this night?
One is the numbers. They're constantly changing. Hopefully it'll be a little bit automatic this year, but we always have those fears of like, well, what if that doesn't work? Or what if there's this big thing that I need to put in? But I think it's just those last minute things. Like, we always have the potential for breaking news, but on election night, we know that it's going to be changing like breaking news would all night.
So it is pretty much a show full of breaking news because we're always getting different numbers. And so where are our people going to be? We're going to have a couple people spread out. Where are they going to be tonight?
We have one crew at Representative Peltola's party, and then also Nick Beggage's party. And then we have you in the studio looking at the, the shift of power of the Juneau when it comes to those seats, and then also a little bit of like the national and local presidential race. We also have a few other reporters looking at some other things. We'll see how the day goes and what those topics are.
What ends up to be important to Alaskans. So that is kind of what we're doing here on election night. We've had our election night pizza. If you've ever heard of a newsroom, we always have tradition on election night pizza. I don't know what we would do if they would say one year, let's get chicken. I think the newsroom would fall apart. So we've had our election night pizza. We're just waiting for the polls to close, just like most Alaskans, and waiting to see what those numbers will be. We will be back here live probably one more time before the polls close as we talk to some of the parties and as they're getting ready for those results. And then we will be back here as soon as we can. As soon as those results come in, we're going to jump back on this desk and talk about some of those and get that ticker going so everybody can kind of see where their important race is. And then at 10 o'clock, of course, you want to tune into Alaska's News Source because we will have people out with Peltola and Beggage. We're going to be talking about those ballot measures coming through, some of the big races, and just kind of how the day has gone for the election overall. And how Alaska voted in the presidential race. We should have that, at least some early numbers on that as well. So thank you so much for joining us. We will see you back here a little bit later. I'm looking down to find out. That's the button I was looking for. There we go. We will see you back here in just a little bit. Thank you so much for joining us at our digital desk.